All right, welcome to the Bearthought podcast. We do this every Friday at 5 o'clock, usually at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, Eastern Standard Time around 6 o'clock. If you want to join us, be sure to be in the channel, be in the chat, and have your questions ready. Today, we have a new guest with us, my GM for my Pathfinder game. If you've not already been watching it, we do kind of every off and on every weekend around 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock on this channel. And of course, he is the GM. What do you want me to call you, just in case you're not you're not comfortable giving out your actual name?
Uh, Whatever you want to call me, brother.
Well, I'm gonna just call you GM, but I don't want to
That
say you.
sounds good.
Okay, just
No,
because.
you're good. You're good.
But they might hear you if you watch the podcast, or not the podcast. You watch the Pathfinder gameplay. You might hear his name, including my name. What?
He's a little low.
He's a little low. Okay,
GM's a little low.
I got him.
Okay.
Give me a check
about
here.
me?
Is that a little better?
A little low as well. Okay, and give me a mic check, everybody. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Corvo's good as long as he's talking towards him.
Okay, cool.
All
So,
right.
that being said, welcome.
Yeah, I'm
Hi.
very glad you accepted my thing. I didn't know you actually would say yes. I just took a shot.
Yeah. No, this sounds like a lot of fun.
Well,
And I,
Hmm?
sorry, I was gonna say I do apologize for not having a camera, so that everybody could see me. Again, you kind of sprung it on me, and
I know.
I've never quite done something like this. So this is,
Hey,
new
man,
experience.
It's all good. The way we like to look at it is just think about if we were all three sitting around a table bullshitting. That's pretty much what this podcast is.
Yes. I've always had this community where the community it's not just a viewing audience, it's a people that we are as if we're at each other's house, camaraderie, shooting the shit, making jokes, making laughs, and just random conversations. As you well know, I am a bit of a rambling person. So if there's silence, I will break it. So don't feel like you ever have to just sit there and be quiet and listen in. Be sure to jump in. We try not to overtalk other people, but it happens. It happens. So GM, let's just start off with what you do for a living. Because I don't know very much about you other than our first meeting. And that's it. Other than you being now a happily married man, I went to your wedding past couple weeks, which was great, awesome. That was a lot of fun. Even though I would like to stay there a little longer, but my wife wanted to get home. What do you do for a living?
Okay. So what I do, and you guys can still hear me, okay?
Yeah.
I'm
Yep,
trying not to
we're good.
breathe into the mic. Okay, cool. All right. So what I do is I calibrate anything and everything. If it is electrical or mechanical in nature, I make sure that when a regular technician or somebody picks it up and uses it, it is working as intended. So, say a torque wrench. You make sure that if you put it at 150 foot-pounds, it's supposed to hit roughly 150 foot-pounds within 2 or 3%, positive and negative. So that's what I do. The short term is I work on things that eventually end up killing people. Yeah.
Well, it does happen. Thank you for your service. As you said before, you are ex-military man, so thank you for your service. We're grateful to you that you actually keep our nation safe and do the best you can, even despite you putting yourself at risk, to keep us allowing the amenities that we have to this day. So I'm not against the military. I understand it's a necessary evil. It's not something that you really want to see, but there is going to be some people out there, there's just innately just have bad intention. They just something about their upbringing or their life just said, you know what? I don't like you. Don't know why. I just don't. And we won't see peace, but it does happen. That's why there's bullies out there, right? Those bullies do bully other people, and sometimes other people are bullies to other nations that just say, "Hey, I don't like what you got, and I want it." And
Yep.
we all been through
Yep,
bullies.
that's for sure.
Okay, so you have a bit of a technological upbringing and a bit of a sharp wit to you. When I first met you, I was a little bit taken aback because I first met you was at a Halloween party that we were all invited to. You were with your ex girlfriend at the time. She was a little wild, and my wife
Yes,
my wife did not like her at all.
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, and me and you, we actually got to chatting, and I introduced you into one of my first hobbies, which are not my first hobbies, one of my interest hobbies at the time, 3D printing. And Curvo, as he well knows, I got him into it as well. So we're all three very much interested in the technology that is 3D printing. Now, do you ever use 3D printing in your day-to-day life, or it's like your work life?
I actually did create some small components for making us a little more efficient at work. They're hard to explain, but basically it's a small queue that allows us to jumper copper wires from one little spot to another, and it's tiny. It's overall the entire item is like an inch.
Like copper bridges, then for jumping from conductor to conductor.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so but it's still something that you're taking a interest of hobbyists and turning into a functional use that we're 3D printing, and me and Corvo both said before. It's allowing us to do things we normally could not do. It's a functionality it's building process is not normal.
Look at what I just had to go through with that room. I mean, there were more than one items in that room when we remodeled it that you couldn't get in the time frame we needed to get it in. So I just took measurements and come home and modeled them and printed them. I mean, it made my life easier, made it happen faster, and hey, I got some bonus out of it.
Nice.
So yeah,
Nice.
we both very much like 3D printing, very much so. I am the more hobbyist version of it, though. Full stop. I did it purely for the figurines. That's the only reason why I got into it. But then, I saw the utility of it. I saw the use of it, and Corvo, he very much saw the use of it. So it's interesting to see what other people implement it, whether it be from day-to-day work life to building homes.
Oh, full stop. If you want to talk about that, I mean, the reality of it is, my first and foremost love is I love to do translucent models that I can light up. I
Mm,
Oh,
love to.
sounds awesome.
yeah.
I love to take like and I'll say it like this. I'd like to take a character, say it's a fire adept character from like Genshin, print
Mhm.
them in a translucent red, and then figure out a way to make a base with lights on it so it lights that character up glowing red. Those are I do that. That's my hobby side of it. The other
Mm.
stuff like I did at work,
Nice.
that's my utility side of it, where I'm like, this would be a whole lot faster if I just did this myself.
Okay, nice. So may I ask a quick question,
Go ahead.
if you don't mind?
Sure.
My question is, what program are you using to build your models? Because
It
I
depends.
Go
It
ahead, go ahead.
depends. It depends solely on what I am trying to accomplish.
Okay.
So if it's a basic model, let's say a floor plate to cover up an outlet in the
Mhm.
floor, then I'm probably going to use a generic free program that I use called Tinkercad because it has basic shapes in there. I can pull one of those basic shapes in and just throw the right measurements on it and export it out. Good to go. Now, if it's something more in depth, then I'm probably going to be in Mesh Mixer because then I can fine tune textures and smoothing and like I can pull and pinch different parts of the model to give me different textures.
Okay.
And the mesh usually ends up being more complex for those.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So the reason I ask is I have more experience in Blender 3D programming.
Which is the
Um,
standardized thing.
Yeah, so I have that, and I picked up ZBrush which
Very good.
is you guys know
Yeah.
is a AAA. It's being used. They made Groot with ZBrush. I
Yeah.
don't know if y'all
Right.
knew that. So I'm learning ZBrush, and it is not for beginners. I can tell you that much. It is
Well,
a
there,
struggle.
yeah, there's a lot of programs like that. Like, let's
Mhm,
be honest. While Blender is a great program, it
mhm,
also isn't necessarily written for beginners. It's not intuitive for a
Mhm,
beginner.
mhm.
Um, but it's a great program. It does exactly what it's supposed to do, and once you learn it, it's a great skill. But um, I would say Mesh Mixer is kind of a mid tier. Like when you're beyond the basic shapes of Tinkercad skill
mhm.
level, Mesh Mixer would be your next step up. I still like to use Tinkercad for basic items just because it's fast, easy, and simple.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sometimes you can
perfect.
just in Tinkertag, you can just like mix two models that are already made, put them together, make hollows out of them. That's quick,
Right.
simple, dirty. Then Mesh
Like,
Mixer is just like, hey, I just want to move a few things here and there. It's like moving a hair follicle 2 inches to the left. That is not very
well,
much of a difference.
what what I typically mainly use Mesh Mixer for is like when I want to slice a model up into multiple parts because there's not a sliced version of it, and then
Right.
key it so it fits together perfect. I like to use Mesh Mixer for that because let's say I have an orc figurine. I can slice his arm off and put a key on this arm and make a negative hole of it in here, and when it goes back together, it's seamless. But
Oh, that's awesome.
it allows me to print those in different portions so they don't run into that whole, well, it's too oversized for the bed. No shit.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I have run into that before. I tried at one point making my own dice trays, and immediately I ran into an issue with the bed being way too small.
Mm.
So,
Right. And see, like I have a model that is a D&D dice tray for one set.
hmm
But the model is fantastic because each slot is modeled for that die, and
right.
then the lid attaches using recessed magnets.
Okay, yeah. Um, the only time I've seen a lot of small recessed magnets and stuff used is with Warhammer. The models, 3D printing, or not just 3D printing, but people will kit bash them,
Yeah.
and they'll use those, and they'll recess it so they can swap out the parts so that they can use them in
Right.
unofficial.
Right. I have a friend that I work with that is a huge Warhammer fan, and he has any number of models. He's even had me make bases and attachments for his models before that he
Yeah.
does the same thing with. That's the whole purpose. So he could just snap on chainsaw arm versus M16 arm, you know?
Yeah. That's God, it is such a money sink though.
Oh yeah. So, well, for Warhammer, they have a rule, and you have to buy the official 3D models if you want a 3D model, because otherwise they won't let you 3D
Yes.
models that you made yourself. And
Mhm.
it's not just the money sink; it's also the time sink. 'Cause you don't buy them pre-painted and pre-made. You gotta buy these things, put them together,
Yep.
sand them in certain kits, and then paint them, which is
Yeah,
painstakingly, which is actually a lot of money you can earn from that. If you're good at that,
right.
boy, how you can start an industry just by having people send you models and then you painting them, or you just painting them
Which
yourself
is
and sending them out.
which is one of the reasons why I did not get into Warhammer. I couldn't do it. I was like, can I do it? Do I have the equipment to do it? Can I do it probably cheaper than average Joe? Yeah, but do I want to? Hell no.
Okay. Well, speaking of price and board games, this is very, I've already said this before. The GM here, he is a Pathfinder GM. He is. I met him through one way, but then re-met him again through his wife, which is a coworker of my wife. Small world, isn't it? And
Money.
okay, I want to know this for first off. How much did all those books and all the things you have bought for Pathfinder over the years, how much do you say that cost you? Because, Warhammer is expensive, but those books, they can start adding
Um,
up.
They do. But the nice thing is that I get a lot of revalue out of them, especially with helping you guys, actually putting them to use and everything. So, and I wanted to get the books because first off, I'd like, you know, it's you gotta have, you just gotta have the books. There's
Yes,
sometimes
you
you
have to.
can't. You know, digital is great, but there are some things that are just so much easier
Better.
and better. Yeah.
I agree.
Better.
But
I agree.
books are one of those things. They're better in hand. So
Mhm.
And I feel that way. I have a collection of books that were based off of Dritz Duorden, and
yes, yes.
I've been pen pals with RA for years now through email, and I just can't imagine trying to read those books on a digital display. I don't feel like it would feel the same.
No,
Um,
no.
so it's like when they're like one of my kids. When I look up there and one of them's missing, the first thing I'm doing is like, where the hell did it go? Where's it at? You know, because
Yeah.
you know, that series is still going. This man is still hitting New York Times bestseller list. I'm like, one day he's
Oh,
gonna die.
they're such great books. I mean, each one of them is, yes, they build upon each other, but you can also read them standalone and not really be that lost. So it's such a good series. But to answer your question, I own pretty much most of the books, which I have to rebuy some of them because they are actually remastering the Pathfinder second edition again.
Yeah.
Uh, so let's see. Give me a second. I gotta do math. Math. Even okay. So by the way, Pathfinder has also been referred to as Mathfinder because of all the freaking crap you add up.
Yeah, but me, I'm
Yeah,
starting
and
calling it Thesaurus Finder because it's too much to read. Goodness gracious.
yeah.
Oh,
So the books I have are, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So far I have 9 of the books. I do believe that's all of the main actual Paizo books, and I
Yeah.
have a few offhanded ones. Each one ranges from about 40 bucks to $60 a piece.
Okay.
So yeah, you're looking at close to 250, 300 bucks ish, if my math is right, which is
Okay,
probably
so if anybody out
horribly
there,
wrong.
yeah, if anybody out there is interested in trying to get into it, at least try to get into the perspective of maybe being a GM. That's why I bring it up because you're a GM, and I've always wondered, like, what would make someone want to become a GM? Because like GM is everybody's always down for being like, hey, being a player, being the person that beats up on the creature, the story and even mess with the story. But the GM is the one that has to come up with the creatures, the world, the settings. Like we are pretty much me as being a player. We are meant to destroy something you took so much time and effort and passion behind, and just destroy it. And like any plans you have, we are almost there to almost get you off course, but you have to ring us back on course to keep on with your story, and that has to be so like differently mindsets. Like, okay, I gotta keep everybody in line.
You're
And
thinking about it all the wrong way. I can already
hey,
tell you.
I'm
from
not
the
a
start.
GM. I am a person here to be
Um,
a murder hobo.
yeah, okay. So first off, it's there's a couple of things that go into it. And there are a couple of different styles and things. I would recommend anybody that plays the game, if they're brand new to the game, you don't have to learn everything. Just roll with it. And it actually says, in I do believe several of the books, right off the bat, if you read the first pages, these are guidelines. You've got those folks that like the rules lawyers or blah 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 blah. They're guidelines. You can bend them as long as you guys are having fun. And I set up basically point A and point B. As
Yeah.
long as you guys have fun in between, whatever happens, happens. I mean, and you guys obviously are having fun because you keep coming back. Um, but it's never my mindset is I have to do several things, and I have to keep this in mind. Is I can't offer you guys advice on what to do or what not to do a lot of times
Hmm.
because I'm trying not to spoil anything, and I'm also not trying to. It's never the GM versus the players. Okay, meaning it's not one of those type of games. It's if you play that way, you're probably going to end up with a lot of pissed off players and not as much fun because you don't want to like I could drop a raid boss on you, as Brock loves to mention, okay?
Yeah.
um there are devices that I am trying to implement that display, hey, this is really dangerous and you probably want to like go about this a whole different way without you guys like absolutely getting murder stomped into the ground. So
Hmm.
yeah. So and as for how I got into this, yeah, that's I
I'm
enjoy
sure it's a long trail.
Kind of does happen.
I enjoy playing the game, and the issue is that we had a couple of folks that wanted to play the game, and nobody really nobody really knew what they were doing with the GM, the portion of it, or had time to do all that. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll get the books. I'll run it, and we'll see where this goes. And now, Leanne, my wife, wants to strangle me half the time over it. 'Cause, you might hear her in the background. Say hello. There she is.
Huh?
She, if you guys don't know, Leanne, which is my wife, she plays one of the characters, Amnesia. She's the one that has the southern drawl that's country as corn.
Hmm.
Yeah, so there you go.
Okay, so you took on the role because not many people had the time, or like you wanted to see it go through. So you went, hey, I'll make sure it happened, Captain. I'll take the lead here, and you just went for it. And you are pretty much making it from, for us, I understand, most of the story so far has been of your own design, right? This is your own.
All of it. All
Yeah,
of it has been my own design.
So how does it feel playing like the bad guy, like? Because that's how you're playing the game, but you are the bad guy. You are the guy, though you don't intentionally try to, but you are essentially like you can kill all of us.
No, well, I mean, rocks fall, you die,
Yeah.
or land sharks or something stupid. I'm not. I don't actually see myself as the bad guy because I also play the neutral characters, the good guys, the bad guys. The whole point again is to have fun. I don't care if that means, oh, I made this character, it took me hours, and you guys destroyed him in like 3 seconds flat. Like awesome. You guys you push somebody down a well. I don't know. You guys did something
Creative.
absolutely insane. Yeah. Like you guys, I don't remember if you recorded this one or not, but we have a character that is literally a screw around and find out type character, and he busted a barrel of ale over the top of an orc which was trying to throw it, and basically set half of a bar on fire just to see what would happen.
Oh yeah, I got that. It was one of the first ones we did on online. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got that one. And I was like, goodness gracious, you're about to kill all of us. The whole thing is fine. All the things inside this thing is now gone. We can't loot none of it. Great. Okay, Corby, you had something to show, right? I saw you grab some.
Yeah. So we were talking about the books earlier. So as a little homage, so this is he let me know in advance when this book was coming out for signing. And he does quite regularly send me emails saying, "Hey, this volume's coming up for signing," and he sent me a signed copy.
That is awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty sick.
Like I say, dude's got a great heart. doesn't, as he's told me before, I don't pen pal many of my fans because a lot of them are cuckoo for damn Cocoa Puffs and
Yeah.
they're like
see
fanboying and
that.
fangirling and shit. But he likes to talk to me because I'll just tell him straight to the point. You know, most people try to kiss his ass and be like, "Oh, you did great here." I'll be like, "Yeah, it was a fantastic story, but I think this part was fucked up. What the hell?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'll be
Yes.
like, "I know, right? But you know, for this to happen in the plot, and we'll discuss this shit." And I'm like, "When the fuck? What? Why am I doing this? I just send me the next copy, damn it."
It's good to see that somebody has such a passion for their own community that they will take in personal involvement, individual people. And like I said before, it's interesting that you, GM, would call you that, have such an interesting passion to not just go from the books, but make your own story where it can almost come up to its own book. Like at the end of it, you can literally take all that happened and put it inside of a book, and there's a whole new story from the start to end that you have made all by yourself with the help of your players. And any actions that happen to any of us, it can also be part of the book. That's why some people want me to take my story and make a campaign out of it, and I'm going, I don't have the technical know-how to do that. If I could, I would.
It's kind of like I was talking to a friend of mine who plays D&D, and he was DMing a D&D match one time, and he said he had the craziest damn barbarian in the party that was playing he's ever
Yeah.
seen in his life. He was like, we literally rolled up to this damn cabin, and it was like, okay, what are you gonna do? He's like, well, I'm gonna jump through the window. And he's like, okay, well, roll me in athletics. You know, the guy rolls low, he smacks it like it's concrete and slides down the side and wakes up every damn enemy inside the cabin. And he's like, it was like this for the entire campaign. He would just be like, I'm a barbarian, but I'm going to stealthily sneak over there. And he's like, really? Okay, well, roll me for stealth. He'd hit low. Oh, you trip over a freaking pot, and everybody in there is now on alarm. His whole party got to the point where they're like, yeah, I swear to God, if you try to do especially from another class on that damn barbarian one more time, you know, that's the thing about Pathfinder, about D&D games like that.
Mhm.
You can do stupid stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it can become a laughable point, but you know, sometimes some things just dumb. Really, I'm a barbarian. I'm gonna jump through the window. What the hell?
Yeah. So it's really okay. So I will definitely say that the players are the heart of the game. I mean, you can have a DM that can make a wild story and have these twists and turns all day long, but in the end, it's all for naught unless the players make their decisions.
Yeah, it's all about the decision, right? Like,
Yeah.
I just sent Grumpy a character sheet right before this for a character I created for a D&D campaign we were thinking about running.
Okay.
And all he could do was shake his head because this character is all over the map. And he's like, what the hell? I'm like, well, the DM's going to have fun trying to figure it out.
Uh,
I designed the character specifically to make it hard on the DM. I'm not going to lie and say I didn't.
Right. So you made a joke character.
Yeah, well, it's really not a joke character. I mean, he has use. He can do what he needs to do, but the problem
Right.
is he has so many things skill wise, weaponry wise, armor wise,
class wise,
race wise, class wise that is not normal.
No, it's not.
Okay.
That trying to figure out any one thing that's just going to be the end all be all of this character is going to be a pain in the ass, because chances are you find that he's weak to this, but one of his abilities that you really weren't planning for him to have makes him immune to that. You know,
Okay.
Bunch of quirks.
it's a wild ass character, and I am going to have a lot of fun watching the person squirm. That and the fact, well, me and you both know that Grumpy will run and hug and cuddle anything if you point him in the right direction. So,
So his major thing is I am doing my best to keep him away from trees.
trees, yes. But listen, I mean, even in some of the online games we play, I have fun with him because I'll be like, Grumpy, friend, hugs. And he was like, hugs? So I'm
or
like,
say no balls. I'm like, what? No balls? I got balls. I will run straight in. I don't care.
No, yeah.
That's awesome.
Hey, does he do you think he's got balls to do it? Sure, I got balls.
The comment wasn't even aimed at him. The comment was totally not aimed at him. It was this random person that joined the party, and he's been doing crazy stuff all the way. And we're like, I'm like, I wonder if he's got the balls to do it. And next thing I hear, balls? I got balls. The Grumpy goes yeeting down. I was like, not you, no, not you. I know you got balls. Stop. You gotta get someone killed.
I just like moments like that where it's almost chaos, but it's almost like it's chaos that is almost welcomed. I love that kind of moments where it's unexpected, but it's so welcomed and enjoyed because you don't know what's gonna happen. I enjoy that kind of things. It's just see what chaos comes of it, and it can be so enjoyable. And that's some reason why I always like the idea of playing tabletop games. No, there's no actual, characters being moved around. There's sometimes not even a map. Sometimes there's not even dice in some case. Where there's some interactions, it's all in the mind, and playing what the mind could bring out, the ultimate computer can unfold in front of you by just a few words is so enjoyable. I've never got to experience before. And two, I get to play Pathfinder, but I've always wanted to try D&D, but I never had the opportunity.
Well, I mean, think about it. When we did some of those lines for your manga the other day, we all discovered that my inner thoughts are of a complete asshole. And so now we know that my outer thoughts on creating a character for the DM is completely an asshole. So yay for me!
So go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to just ask you what made you choose Pathfinder over D&D, but go with yours first. Go with your thought first.
Okay. Well, I should be able to answer both. So one of the things is to answer Corvo there is basically I don't really care about how my players make their characters because I'm not looking to pick at their weaknesses or play to their strengths or anything like that. I'm letting them freeball it, go absolutely bonkers, do whatever, and I do have to tinker with their characters and have to help them read a lot and
True.
make rulings. Obviously, go ahead.
Hey,
Go ahead.
True.
Grumpy,
Yeah.
you should drop my character sheet in there so he can take a look at it.
Oh, you can look at that later on, but I do that. Yeah.
He'll get the crack up at because he'll get it when he starts reading it. He has enough insight in these types of games to understand what I do.
Oh yeah.
And it's very funny to me knowing what's coming because I know the individual and the personality of the person that's going to be doing it.
Mhm.
And he's not going to intentionally be like, I'm going to be God and strike you down with lightning, but he's also not going to be that person like, here, let me hold your hand. He's that person that will kind of want to slow you down, but not stop you. But the problem is the way I built this character, he's going to have to choose what he's doing.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. And I will definitely give that a read here in a moment or so. As for why I picked Pathfinder over D&D is I've played both games.
Mhm.
I'm not familiar with older versions of D&D. I do understand and know that D&D 3.5 is the basis of Pathfinder.
Mm-hmm.
And as their Pathfinder 2, they're starting to get further away from that, which is cool. I mean, that's what I like.
You want to make its own
But,
little universe, its own little thing. So yeah.
But I found out that Pathfinder, I really enjoyed it, not because of the math, and my wife will tell you the math is wrong every time. It's incorrect math. It drives her nuts. The Pathfinder has more character development and character customization versus D&D.
Okay.
I feel like you have more. The player has more control over really making a unique character. Obviously, there's it's only so much you can do, but there are more classes, there are more characters, and that play different. But there's also classes that kind of overlap into other areas. So you don't have somebody that's just pure tank, pure DPS, pure healer. I don't think we have an actual like straight up healer in the class in
No, we
our
don't.
entire group. Now everybody can do a little bit of everything. I think we have a witch in the party. We have a alchemist. Which, by the way, the alchemist Brock. He is. His name is Professor Herbert in the game. He is a character. We'll just yeah. The best way to describe him is a scientist with zero morals.
Yes.
So yeah. So literally, yeah. He's just insane. And all of the characters are just everybody. Everybody has an absolute blast. Playing their character the way they think they should, and I'm there to have fun seeing what they do.
Right.
I
And
have just as much fun as they do.
it's kind of like when I was growing up, I couldn't afford D&D. I had a few like an NES or Atari, but I couldn't afford like expensive tabletop games. So
Yeah,
what we would do would be literally we would just start a story, a group of 4 or 5 of us,
Right.
and there would be what we would call a story master, and he would be telling the story, and he would get the points, kind of like what we did with Grumpy's uh, um, manga the other day when we were ad libbing some lines. He would give us a scenario and say go, and we would react however we thought we should react,
Okay.
and then he would have the story react to those scenarios in a way that he thought it made sense. And dude, those story games that we would play, hell, I don't know. I think we had one last 7 or 8 months one time. Because
Right.
nobody wanted to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. I mean, that is the fun part, and of making these games like this is if you really have a good group, and that is another aspect of playing games like this is it's not just relying on me telling a story and the players playing their characters. It's how well is the group working together, not just like their characters in game, but outside of the game too. Is everybody having fun? Like just picking at each other? Are they or do you have that one person that just like has to be the center of attention? That like, oh god, here he goes again. Can we just like do something with him or or her or whatever?
Rolls low on critical. Party member accidentally slices his head off. Oh shit, you're out of the game.
Exactly, and that's what I really don't want to get to. I would hate to be that guy, but
Well,
honestly, it's for the benefit of the group.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I literally watched as a spectator one time a D&D campaign where a character that had been doing pretty much what you said was trying to be center of attention, always the hog, always trying to be forefront, doing the spectacular thing, and he got poisoned. And
Yeah.
you know what happened? None of his party fucking healed him, and guess what? He didn't have any ability to heal himself. They
Nope.
left him there dead.
Mhm. Yep.
And I was like, that's gotta suck to know that you pissed off so many people in your party, they were willing to go a man down the rest of the campaign.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
that's why that one game is like, oh, why are you being so quiet this round? I'm like, because everybody's here. I want people to talk. I don't want to always be the one talking. I like to cut up and make jokes, but I was like, okay, let's let them talk. Come on, say something. The other matches or other games we were playing, people were like not saying anything. I'm like, okay, awkward silence. Someone wants to say something. I'm gonna say something. Okay, no one else is saying it. I will. I have no problem with that. But of course, I'm the only one that's actually like, doing a voice, so that makes me the oddball. But I'm not doing it because I want to be standing out. I do it because I enjoy the idea of voice acting. I don't know. That sounds like to expand yourself outside from your normal personality. I'm not normally a person out there trying to get with the tree. I'm not always saying, "Mom," like I don't look at my mom. I'm not a mommy's boy, right? I'm not a mommy's boy. I'm not a bright-eyed. And of course,
you could have fooled me with your character,
yeah, but I'm not a real life mommy's boy. But
he does like wood though. Listen, he likes
I bet.
Yeah,
I'm
but
sure.
but I do like the idea of just playing a character that's not me. But at the same time, I do put a little bit of being me. I do like making people laugh. I do like making people have a little bit of chuckle moment. I do have a bit of a perverted mind at times. I'm not going to deny that. It's how I make the character.
Dude, you are in the right group, okay?
So yeah.
I mean,
listen. You
times, Grumpy. Really?
No king shame.
I will always.
I know that's stealthy for you, but yeah, that's why I like the idea of playing D&D. When I was a kid, I didn't play D&D because, well, my mom was a traditional Christian. She was like, you're not playing the devil's game. I wasn't able to play Diablo, and I wasn't able to play D&D. And of course, nowhere around me was like, hey, everybody in my school was raising their hand. Who wants to play D&D tonight? No one said anything. If you play D&D, it was hush hush. If you like anime, it was hush hush in my school. And I've always wanted to play it, but no one ever said, let's do it. So getting the opportunity, thanks to you, was actually my first real campaign. I had a taste of it one night of it during one of my streams, but it was so during their gameplay, it was so restrictive, and I didn't like that. They were literally not allowing me to take actions and do things. I'm like, I'm asking to do it, and then it's like, nope, can't do it. I'm like, why? I just said, can I? It's like, nope. All right, well, I guess that's their type of D&D, but yours is a little bit more freeing. I like that aspect.
Yeah, like I said, it's a lot of fun. LaFoe, her, I'm trying not to be too personal about her background, her personal life. But at the time when she used to be married, her husband was actually the DM, and he was very restrictive as well, and he was really into the combat and some of the story, but he didn't know how to do much outside of those two functions of the game. And there's so much more to the game than just combat and getting from point A to point B. That's why I introduced we had the what are they called, the carnival games that we played, that we had a puzzle that you guys got to try out, different things to really see that your character you don't have to build your character around just pure combat. I am working on social encounters. That is actually my weak point, so that's something that's I've got to work on as a GM to give you guys even more, but that allows y'all to use your roles for things, that you wouldn't think of. Like, make you guys think outside the box. Like, the little puzzle, the little trap that I had you guys get through, it wasn't harmful. It was just annoying,
And I was trying to figure out, okay, what kind of trap is this? How does it work? How does it function now? And they were talking, and I'm going, okay, that makes me think of something and going through that. But yeah, there's just so happened the last boss we went against too. I hope it was a boss, not just another minion. We went against her, and the first thing was like, you know what? For once, let's try talking to her. And I immediately went to shit. It's like, okay.
Well, so in the game, there is actually a type of character that you can build that is called a face, and I had to look this up. I was trying to figure out what it was. A face is it's literally the person in your group that is the face of your party. I didn't realize it was that simple. Basically, they are the person that is better in social situations. Yeah, no, I wouldn't want to send the dude that's 9 foot tall and looks like he's been living inside of a dumpster for the past 3 years to go talk to somebody. He looks horrifying.
Hmm.
You know.
So it does
No,
go
you
off.
want to talk. Go ahead.
So does it go off like whoever has the best stats for that to become the face of the group?
No. It's just it's how you kind of model your character around and some of the skills that you have.
Okay, so
perception
someone has
thing.
that. I'm hoping.
Go ahead.
More of a perception type of situation.
Uh, so I've actually got Foundry pulled up here on my end because I'm helping. We may possibly have a new character joining us. Give me just a second here. So it's something outside of perception. What it is there are other skills that you guys haven't really used much,
Mhm.
such as society, diplomacy,
Diplomacy, okay.
religion. Then there's things like intimidation and deception. There are so these stats. They're more than stats. If you actually look into them, they actually have additional skills behind them. You have to read into them and really actually
Thesaurus.
look through the book.
Oh, the thesaurus. This okay. Again, the only reason why I like even when you would try D&D again or try it for the first time is after watching a channel called Critical Role, and it's a very big channel. It has hundreds, if not millions. It's already got like. It's already got awards, TV shows, multiple merchandise, and I've watched like 4 or 3 other like channels to do D&D, and D&D has such a, from what I watched and what I understood, its description of things are very cut and dry. Like they found a way in number 5 or E5, whatever you want to call it, that they've learned to muddle down and get rid of all the clutter and simplify what D&D is. And Pathfinder is like going from a kindergarten's dictionary to a college dictionary with all these words and all these things and the layers that goes with it. I'm going, please simplify it for a dumb man, because I am apparently not a very smart guy when it comes to reading. And like I said, it's one of those for me. It's not just the reading. It's also I gotta do it, right. It's not just like I can watch someone, I can learn to do it. No, I gotta do it. And
Right.
if I don't do it, I will forget it because my brain doesn't have that need to remember it. But Pathfinder, it's if you want something that's a little more deep, play Pathfinder. If you want something a little more simple, I think D&D is the way to go. But I didn't care. Like at this point, I was like, I just want to play one of these games. I want to try it out, and I'm having fun with it. But boy, howdy, is it long. It's like I just want to have a text to speech every time a new ability comes out. So it's like I hear it over and over and over again. It's like, please let me.
That is something that I try to help you guys with as much as I can.
But we're using
a lot.
program right now. If anybody else wants to try it yourself, this is Forge. Forge what?
You're talking about for the program that you guys can play the game on?
Yeah.
It's Foundry Virtual Tabletop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can buy a server from there for I think it was $50, and then you just own the server.
Mhm.
And there's like a link in the game, and you just you throw that link into your Discord or whatever to the group, and it is web-based for everybody else.
And is this Foundry? So I keep calling it Foundry, Forgery. Is this purely Pathfinder, or could it be used for any kind of campaign?
No, it can be used for any campaign. There are tons of free modules for the system. You can pull up Starfinder, which is the sci-fi version of Pathfinder. There's D&D. There's obviously Pathfinder. I do believe there are quite a few other games in this module or this setup that you can actually install. I don't know what all tabletop type games there are that are like D&D and Pathfinder. Those are just seem to be the
two
most
main ones.
Yeah, the two big ones that I can think of.
Yeah. So let's say you put add-ons to it, which will help you. You know, if anybody needs a certain thing for a character or be able to see certain things, you can make your own map inside this program. You can pull characters into it. You can have it have characters a little more customization of the characters and put their sheet into it. So I like the program, but at first it was so like after a while we all learned how to use it, but at first
It's
it was
daunting.
yeah, it was very
It's daunting.
daunting. It's like there's so many things you gotta click on this, they click on that, they click on this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can I just click on roll, please? Like I see what the sheet says. It's like 2d6. Okay, 2 6s. Click, click, go. I like that. And that you
Yeah.
added that that functionality, but it was at first it was so hard because I like the idea, and I know it's your house, right? And I hate to make it we have to be in person all the time. I did enjoy that. That was a lot of fun. I love being in person.
It is. I would love to get more folks over
But
to the
some
house
people
again.
can't do it because of life constraints.
Yeah. One of the characters, she LaFoe, she works out of state constantly. So she's never really in town, but this is her way of being able to join us. If there's something going on in life, that's the hard part is helping and getting everybody's schedule together. That's why we only do it like once every 2 weeks, because several of our group are in the medical field, and that schedule is a nightmare.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking, like, Corvo, you could probably weigh into this a little bit. Like, it's one thing to say that me and you can come over to your house and play a video game side by side. But with the thanks to the internet, we are able to play from anywhere in our world and be most comfortable place our own house and still be able to play with your friends and the adaptation of the camera. Like, how do you feel about that kind of stuff? Like, just like online games. It's
I like playing online and being able to still have the camaraderie, but there is always going to be a part of me that loves having everybody in the room because it feels more personable.
Yeah. It is. I can definitely.
And I mean, yeah, I can see you on camera. I can see you laugh. I can see you cut the eyes like, don't you dare do that shit. I can see you do it. But it's a different thing when I can see you sitting there giggling when you cut your eyes, knowing he's about to do some dumb shit. You know? It's not that you can't see it. It just feels a little more, like I said, personable, a little more intimate, I guess would be a good way to say it.
Yeah. There's just, if you have the desire to still play with your friends and not be able to meet up, it is a good way to play online. But it's just like the book. Some things are just better when it's tangible, when you can physically touch another person and laugh with them and slap on their back and be there with them. It's just like holding the book in your hand, be able to flip the page and see the next thing unfold in front of you and not be staring at a black screen or a camera that is realistic. I'm still looking at the audiences, but honestly, I'm looking at a camera right now. It's not very personal than seeing someone's eyeball face to face. So how does it feel to you to being the GM and being that person that has come over? Do you think the adaptation of online gaming has kept that alive to you, GM?
I'm thinking kind of how to answer that. So from I assume you guys are heavy gamers like myself, and y'all play multiple genres. We seem to create these communities, and we get to groups that we become friends with, and hang out with and all this stuff. And then you're like, then one day you're like, hey buddy, I'll see you tomorrow night, and then that person never logs back in, or you don't ever see them again. And we don't think a second thought about it, and we just move on to the next person, the next group. But when you're with people, like they're coming over to your house and hanging out with you, you're like, hey, what happened to what's his name? Where did they go? Are they okay? I mean,
Unless
that's the difference.
Unless you're me and Stealthy, and then When people disappear, we start trying to track them down because well, we don't be playing that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally said to my viewers yesterday is that like any one of them could disappear tomorrow, and I have no way of connecting to any of them other than Corvo and Stealthy. Otherwise, everybody else could disappear tomorrow, and I would never hear from them again, and I would be wondering the entire time what happened to them. That's it.
That's why
all
I was messing with him. That's why I was messing with him in chat. I say, you lie, you would miss me. He's like, you don't count.
I know how to contact you.
I would know you're gone. Hell, you wouldn't show up Friday. You wouldn't show up for stream on Sunday. He's like, I would know you're gone. You're too regular. Not to mention,
I have a lot of ways to contact you.
If I'm hauling ass, I didn't stop by your house first.
Yeah, I literally have ways of contacting them, and and being the way that I know where they live and all that stuff. So I have ways of getting that. But yeah, I that's something. The reason why I've always picked up streaming. And GM, I never knew if you were ever interested in it, but streaming for me has always been that I want viewers in my channel that are almost like couch buddies. I want them to be involved in the gameplay and in the conversation, but also feel like they're right next to me, playing the game or taking interaction and playing with my games. When I was younger, I had that kind of camaraderie at my with my friends. Yep. And D&D is the same thing for me. Or in Pathfinder, I want to have a group of people that I can have that feeling with.
Listen, all the way up into my late 20s, I had people that lived across the street from me, prior to and after I met Stealthy, that I would get home, I would go in, change clothes, and depending on what we were playing that night, it may require my console, it may require his console. If it required mine, I was taking it across the street, and we were plugging that bad boy up. We were making, because his wife then worked night shifts, so I would come in, me and him would whip something up for his kids, to eat, get them settled, and then we would crash down on the couch, and whatever game went in was fixing to get the shit kicked out of it until she came home. And when she came home, I went back across the street, crawled in bed, and got up and did it again the next day. And yeah, it made things hard when you had to get up and go to work, but you wouldn't miss those moments of sitting there going, oh, you just did some dumb shit right there. You should not have done that. Or he's like, I got to be real quiet going through this area, and you just reach over and nudge him so his controller bumps. He's like, you asshole. I'm like, well, you said you had to be quiet. You didn't say nothing about me. Those are the kind of things that you miss when you don't have it anymore.
It's no longer just a game. It's now an experience. And that's what I want.
That's why a lot of even our console games that are multiplayer now, there's dual consoles in our house. We have 2 PlayStations, we have 2 Switches, we have 2 this, 2 that, for the sole purpose that chances are there's probably 2 copies of the game in the house, so that me and her can sit on the couch right next to each other and give each other shit while we're playing it. Because my wife, bless her soul, I got lucky, plays pretty much any kind of game I play except for horror. She does not do horror, but everything else she is down for. You want to go wade into an army with 2 guys with M16s? Bet she's got you back.
Oh, dude. Me and Leanne, we play a couple games together. It's been a minute since we played together. But we play some easier games. But when it comes to horror games, dude. So I don't know what it is about playing horror games. I will only play horror games after dark, have all the lights out, headphones on. That way I scare the shit out of myself. I love it. I love it. Dude,
100%.
Dude.
Listen, my first experience when Resident Evil first came out.
All right.
Was funny as shit, because at the time that was back when the big screen projection TVs, you remember them big honking jokers?
Mm-hmm.
Had just come out, and I would slide the recliner up within like 3 feet of this thing. and at the time I had those big old tower stereos with like the 2 10s, the 2 8s, the big.
Oh yeah.
Had them hooked up to it. It was midnight, storming, lightning crashing, And guess what? I hit the hallway that the dogs crashed through the windows. Scared the living shit out of me. I about left that damn house. And then I came back for more.
My big one that got me into that was actually Dead Space. I played Dead Space, and basically, you get these things that are just popping out of the walls,
Yeah.
out of vents, so I'm sitting here, I'm in the dark, I've got the door closed, and I'm sitting in like this old rickety, like crappy wooden chair. Like I'm talking neat, like there's no room, like the desk is barely large enough to fit the PC on, and I'm sitting there, I'm going to town. I mean, I'm focused. Something caught my eye, and I turned to the right just a little bit. Somebody had cracked the door, and they were standing like right next to me. Scared the shit out of me. And I about fell out of my chair. It was so bad. Like I had to pause again. I'm talking. My heart was racing. I swear I had done like a marathon. It was ridiculous.
So I had a buddy playing Fear one night.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So he's playing, and if you've played the game, you know that there's a point where you have to crawl through the air ducts.
Yeah.
I remember
Now
telling the
it
story.
is midnight. It is midnight and raining, and she has a dog in her lap. And when I say dog, I mean a giant ass bulldog.
Mhm.
All the lights are out, and she's trying to tell him, "You're doing something stupid. You're doing something stupid. You need to shake the flashlight before you go in there."
I will watch play the game, but I will watch them playing the game.
He says, and I quote, "Nah, I got enough battery life. I'm good." So he starts into this damned air duct.
Mhm.
The light goes out. So he goes to shaking it, right?
Uh-huh.
The moment he flipped it on, she was 3 feet for him in the air duct and hauling ass. And dude, I have never seen somebody put a person in reverse so fast in my life. He ran her ass out of there as soon as he was safe. He threw the controller down, got up shaking with a tear in his eye, walked to the front porch. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I got to have a smoke." He's sitting there like this. I'm like, "You okay?" He's like, "I wasn't expecting that." I said, "You should have listened to her. She told you to charge that damn thing up before you went in."
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
that's kind of stuff that like I think VR is to become like the must have when it comes to horror games, video games itself, because you be so immersed in it that you're gonna forget everything now. That's why you turn off the lights. You don't see, so you pretty much block it everything else around you, and you're just your tunnel vision on your screen, getting yourself immersed in the moment. That's
So
like me
when it gets to that point, I'm gonna have to have a room in my house that's empty because I don't have a flight reflex. Okay.
The
So-
flight reflex.
The moment that bitch pops up, I'm gonna go to swinging. And if there's anything in the room that I'm gonna break some shit.
My type of horror game is playing Subnautica. I've done told this before. Playing
Yes.
that game puts the fear of God in me. And then my wife maybe played Poppy Playtime. That game's pretty scary too, but in a different way. That's my horror games. That's me. Like I'm Poppy Playtime or Subnautica. You will have me scared shitless because I don't like deep dark water. Oh geez, do I not like it. But okay.
The first one is so much scarier than the
Yeah,
second one. By
it
the way.
is.
Well,
Yeah, it is.
I played numbers of games that people thought were scary as shit, and
Mhm.
they were scary, they were thrilling, but they didn't really cause me to jump or nothing like that.
Right,
Mm.
right, right.
It's the shit that you don't expect, like dogs crashing through a window, or you're running along and then this random ass thing moves in the corner of your eye, and then you just see your character get yeeted.
Mhm.
Those kind of things. Those things scare the shit out of me. But like, if I'm playing through and I know there's monsters in this building, I might be a little bit, amped up, and I might be a little touchy. But I'm not going to scream and run away when one of them shows up. However, put
Right.
me in a situation where I don't know that there's any monsters or anything in there. It's like a pure jump scare. I will jump. I will throw a damn controller.
So, well, and what else goes into that is, it's not just a jump scare. Because if they do that too often, you're just like,
Oh, another one.
I'm over it. Yeah.
Yeah, then you get complacent. So like
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of the things for me is like Fatal Frame will scare the living shit out of me because there'll be a moment where for like 30 minutes nothing will happen. You're just walking along, taking pictures, collecting the part of the puzzles, trying to figure out what happened, why people died. Next thing you know, you'll pop your camera up and that damn thing will be standing right there at your lens with its hands around your throat, and you'll be like,
Well,
you know,
for me, if it's it has to be horror, it has to be something that I know I'm fearful for my life. If I am in a video game and I'm fearing for my life, and the thing that comes that could take my character's life comes at me, I am scared. And that's why I was playing Subnautica. I heard the monsters, I didn't see the monsters. So I knew I was in danger. I just didn't know where I was in danger until they were right on top of me.
yeah.
And I was
The
like,
Leviathans.
yeah, I was like, I can hear them
Yes.
screaming. I know they're around me, but where are they? Because it's just deep,
No.
dark water.
There, by the way, in Leviathan.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he would love Bioshock.
Now Stealthy on the other hand, if you manage to get her to play a horror game, you might as well just put her on follow because you ain't gonna have to kill shit. Because every time it scares her, everything in her arsenal will go at it. It will die. I mean,
What is that meme? It's how I start the stealth mission and it's like Solid Snake from Metal Gear, you know, and then it's like how I finish a mission and it's like straight up Rambo with a Gatling gun.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, we were playing Gears one time, and I had played this area where the Juggernaut crashes through the wall. Right,
Mhm.
I knew this shit was coming. I
Right.
did not tell her it was coming. We're running along, and she starts hearing it behind the walls. And I
Mhm.
see her. She's looking. She's already started getting a little nervous. She's looking. And the moment that thing crashed through the wall, she dropped 2 grenades, 3 magazines, and a fucking rocket launcher. And I watched him melt. And I was like, babe, all I got to say is in a war, you would be a demon because your reaction time is insane. I mean, he didn't even get to go, "Urgh." He come through the wall and fell down. I was like, shit, I'm just going to put you on follow at this point. You don't even
That's
need
awesome.
me. Your heightened fucking fear sense is gonna get me through the game.
Nice. Nice.
Asshole.
Yes, I am.
Well, she literally has the epitome of instead of a fear factor, she's a swing factor. She just immediately gets fight for her life, and she will start killing anything and everything within her range,
The only
including
thing I
ants.
have ever seen her run from was spiders. She does not do spiders. That is the only thing I don't think she would fight. I think she would haul ass. She does not do spiders. Anything else, she's not gonna run. She's gonna swing until it falls down.
So, for something that I did notice with my party, first off, everybody seems to everybody's having fun, and I'm starting to slowly introduce cursed items,
Mhm.
and I'm not telling them what they do or when they pick them up. So when they start using, you're like, oh yeah, this is just whatever, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, why is it, okay, it's acting normal, cool, get like, I don't know, halfway up a rope and, you fall 30 feet because, there's a small goblin that pops out with a grappling hook and decides to cut your rope instead,
Yeah,
Yeah.
or the gem that you tried to introduce and then immediately got like or a problem was fixed, or not a problem was fixed, but like he immediately got around it. I'm like, God dang it! Like that's why I got I got one item that literally puts a curse on somebody. If they like gold, you can throw it on them, and they'll be fearful of gold. I'm like, this sounds like fun, because all you gotta find somebody that's crazy about gold, some greedy mother out there, and throw it on him and ruin his entire life. My character's like thinking of all the evil stuff I can do with this. Because or a dragon, dragons love gold. Throw it on a dragon. Let's see what happens to him. And I like the idea of taking something that is, like I said, taking chaos and making something of it. See what comes about about it. And that's what I want to do. I want to throw that wrench in the cog and see what comes out. But I saw the gym. I'm like, yay, someone pick up the gym. I wasn't going to pick up the gym, right? Because my character didn't know about it. But they did. I'm like, if they pick up the gym, what's going to happen to them? And the stick that was like whispering things, I'm going, let's...
Yes, I did. I was able to sweeten that deal until he picked it up. So I haven't done that enough. Something I need to like kind of force you guys to do a little more is taking long rests.
Yeah, on the 6, I was like, let's take the rest. Take the rest. Nope.
Because,
okay.
Well, not only does it recharge you guys like spell slots, your whatever items or whatever you've got, it also allows you to, well, it allows me to do things like when you're sleeping to introduce dreams or nightmares or dark whispers. You know, kind of start egging your characters on and kind of like unraveling them in the background, and then when they wake up or when they go back, they're like, oh yeah, I don't know what's going on, you know. So
yeah, it's almost world building but character development.
Real quick, I am curious as to what you thought about that character.
I am actually reading over it right now. Y'all continue, and go ahead. I'm gonna actually dig into this. Give me just a moment. I'll let you.
Well, if anybody wants to know, tomorrow we will be playing Pathfinder around 7:00 Central Standard Time. So be sure to be on here. I will be all across all the platforms as per usual. We do not know because it's usually a touring cost in the air and who shows up. So if they're not there, if your favorite person's not there, but we would be so kind, or at least I would, if you would share it, tell everybody around it, and tell everybody to come watch us live, be in the channel, be talking. I'll talk as best you can, but I hope you enjoy it. Again, this is the GM that does it, the game. I don't think he does any, commission work, but I bet if he could make a living off of being a DM, he would probably jump on that like a, well...
I might, yeah.
He might, yeah.
Also,
come join.
One other thing I need to throw out there for us too is, we've been doing our Sunday streams. There may or may not be a slight delay in starting stream Sunday. Depends on what time I get back. I'm going to try to purchase an item I've been looking for a while. My wife was so kind as to find it.
You gotta go on a little trip.
It's a pretty long little jaunt. It's about 4.5 hours there and back. So I'll be getting up really freaking early so that I can try to get there and get back. This Sunday we will be going back to Fiesta because we're doing 2 weeks of Fiesta, 2 weeks of the Old Republic. So if you want to watch him try to hug monsters, please come because we're about to get to the point where some of these monsters will hug back.
Yay, lovers!
It's gonna be pretty hilarious in some points.
And at some point, we might start adding a little bit on those days, the D&D night, which we will make sure it doesn't conflict with the Pathfinder night. Because, boy, I don't want to be that person. I can't show up the day of the other campaign. Let's just swap days, please. Because Corvo has someone that is, so far, if we know, has agreed. But we got to get everybody else. I don't know if Leo's going to join us or not. Hope she does. Leo, if you watch, let me know in the DMs.
Yeah, he's already agreed to do it. We just need to let him know time and time slot, and then he wants to see character sheets so he can kind of understand our characters more before we start.
I think all DMs want to do that, so they can have like, hey, if I want to add a little hidden story behind this person's story, or they give me a little leeway, I can finagle a few things.
Which is why I went ahead and made my character, and got it out. I haven't sent it to him yet. I'm probably going to send it to him Sunday just so I can hear him Monday go, what the fuck were you thinking? And I'm going to be like, I was thinking about you, buddy, the entire time. He's like, I can tell. Because it is an atypical character. It is not a typical character.
No, it is not. I am definitely... he's kind of a jack of all trades.
Master of none.
It really is. And
That's
as I'm reading it, so Sage is like a wizard class, but then I'm looking down at your both you've got strength
Yeah, I
and
saw that too.
high strength and high dexterity, and then I see you have 2 weapon fighting. So I'm like, oh, more of like almost like
and
Tristan's class. Go ahead, go ahead.
and some little bit of stealth ability. So the idea behind that is because he can cast burning hands pretty well because of his innate abilities, and
Right.
he is pretty highly immune to lightning due to the lineage of Dragonborn he is. The
Yeah, I
idea
saw
was
that.
for the enemies to see him as, oh, he's a caster, so if we get up close on him, we got this. But that is not going to be the case with this character. If you
So
get
the
up,
way, go ahead, go ahead.
if you get up close on him, you're probably going to have a crushed skull, or have a hell of a time finding him, or realize that there's more death there than you expected. The idea is to make it fun and make this person have to make decisions, because this person will make a great story. And like I said, he won't handhold you, but he won't try to outright kill you. He'll try to play that middle road.
Yeah.
I want him to have to make a decision when he comes at me.
Well, that's so the as I'm reading it, it actually reminds me a lot of one of our characters, one of the player characters here, Haldir.
Mhm.
He's our how do we want to
He's a
wanna
wild
say-
case.
he's a very whimsical
Uh-huh.
elf. We'll leave it at that. But
Wild.
his class is called a magus, and they are spellcasters, but they are up close spellcasters, just like the way you're building this guy. So he's got an ability called Spell Strike, where basically he hits somebody as hard as he can in one hit. So not only does he do damage with the weapon that he has in hand, he's also got spells that are affecting it. So he's doing 2 or 3 things at one time, and then when he backs off, he's got like he has a resistance to what he casted as well. So
Right, I mean-
he's a glass cannon, straight up.
Mm.
Like he's gonna hit, and you're gonna feel it when he hits you. Now I wouldn't put him in an extended fight,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't want to get very close to him either. So
Right, but I mean, and that was kind of the point, because
my bad.
he has close range spell casting, being burning hands and stuff like that, but he also has 2 weapon wielding, so chances are he can strike you with one and blast you with the other.
Yes, yeah, and that's how the
but-
Magus class works.
And,
It's really
and
cool.
the idea behind that is I want you to have to think about how you approach this character, because I don't want him to be what I like to call a cookie cutter character. I don't want you to see him as a mage and go, "Oh, I just got to get up close on him." I want
Right.
you to realize that if you get up close on him, that could be a mistake as well.
Yeah, I can see that.
In the same aspect, I don't want you to say, "Oh, well, he's great up close. Let me back off," because that doesn't mean I can't shoot, a wall of flame at you either.
Right,
So
right.
it's gonna be a technical type of situation when he puts him in a battle.
It sounds like the first thing that comes to mind when I think of this character as I'm looking at him, you've got a couple of options to deal with a character like this. You can either whittle them down by having a ton of HP or shield or armor, or make it hard as hell for you to. You're dedicating all your abilities onto one character, while he may be able to kind of skate around. The other thing that you may have to do, or the other thing that I would probably do, is this character designed for single target or groups? Because if it's groups, you can be overwhelmed. If it's single target, it's one dude with a stupid amount of like health, So you're, so you really are one of those like. I can definitely see where he does. He'll have to make a choice. Like if he's gonna go in, he's gonna have to go all in. Like there's
Right.
no beating around the bush. I
You
see
know,
that.
you can't go at it half-hearted and think you're gonna come out unscathed. Don't matter what you do. And
No.
that was the entire, I guess, idea behind it, premise. Not to
Right.
mention, my wife did not build a typical character either.
Okay. Yeah. No. I totally. I see how it's built, and it is very close to the way a Magus would be built. Though his is though you have a little bit more options versus things like so. The way a Magus can be built is one of two things. It can either be built with dexterity or or intelligence as its major go-to. Either way, he's gonna jack you up when you get close. There is another build that allows for ranged and all that good stuff, but that's like 1 out of 5 different arch types that you can pick. So
he reminds me of a touch caster.
He is. He totally is.
Yeah, if Monk have like like after puncher points and touching someone and hurt them, he's kind of like the same thing. He has to punch you and then cast a spell through his punch. That sounds pretty sick to me. That's what reminds me of Monk.
I mean, imagine a scaly dragon arm hitting you and then flames.
Yeah.
Ow, shit.
Yeah, like straight up, like, oh, it's just a little cut. Oh God, why is it on fire? Yeah. I totally get it. Yeah, it's
pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm going for my campaign. I'm going for, of course, a dwarf because I just like the dwarf theme, the dwarf characters. But it's going to be a barbarian that has the bear totem aspect to it, where it makes me more of a tank. And I'm going pure simplistic because, well, I already have your character with the over complication. I'm like, let's do something simple. Barbarian, bear totem. There we go.
Right. And see, knowing that you had already told me that you were going to tank, well, I was thinking, well, there's my shock absorber right there. And if they manage to get past him, then they're gonna have a rude awakening, thinking I'm just a simple little weak caster.
Like caster not wearing a pointy hat and a robe, a caster just wearing like a t-shirt and some jeans, going, yeah, I'm not a caster.
Yeah, no. Grumpy just likes to be a meat shield.
Yeah, I do. I've always played meat shields in most games.
Built a freaking, what was it that you built? A halfling paladin.
Clank, 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 clank.
Has stealth as a skill set.
You're gonna need to be.
That straight up reminds me of one of the characters from Vox Machina. If you guys
Critical Role.
Yep.
Yes, it is great. Well, they made a
TV show. Yes.
Anime. Yeah, on Amazon. Absolutely hilarious. Grog is the
Best
funniest barbarian. Oh my God, he's great. But the whole cast is amazing. So I would definitely watch that if you have time.
Yeah,
super funny.
It's the cleric that Scan usually falls in love with. I'm forgetting her name. Grog's little sister, little buddy. She's the one that runs around. It's like never being quiet because her armor is heavy and she's always being loud. And she during the campaign, because I watched it like literally when they were streaming it all the way through, her stealth checks were always terrible. I'm like, yep, there it goes.
Ike Trickfoot.
Yeah. Yes.
That's the halfling lady girl paladin. You got Keyleth, which is the druid. Vixhalia.
Yep.
One of the twins. She's the
marksman ranger.
Yeah. You got Vax Illidan, which is the
rogue.
Rogue, which is Vex's
twin's
brother. Yeah. You got Scanlan, which is your classic horny bard.
I love it.
Everybody loves it. You got Grog, Strongjaw. He's pure simpleton, all strength. Like, yeah, it's
Barbarian.
great. Yes, he's great. He is absolutely hilarious. Um, yeah,
A
Percy
girl beard.
Duverlo, I think, which is an artificer. Yeah, it's a great cast. It's such a funny show to watch. It's a blast. I loved it. It's so great. I can't wait for more to come out.
Yeah, and can you imagine if your campaigns became that big and became that famous? That'd be a wild adventure. But yeah, that would be it for this week. Real quick question. No, I'm gonna ask this one question for you. Out of these 4 movies, what's your favorite? So we get an idea of what kind of stuff you're into. Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, or Harry Potter?
That's horrible. All of those are just so mainstream, man.
I know. I just like it's always like it's like sci-fi or fantasy, and then which sci-fi or fantasy?
I would probably go with Star Wars, honestly.
Star Wars.
Just
Okay.
Just over the top sci-fi. You know. So yeah.
I forget, Corvo.
Sorry,
What was your choice?
Mine,
Yeah, what was your choice?
all of them.
All of them. Yeah, we're all that.
So he likes to play with little boys with wands. Got it. Okay. All right. Got it.
Let's be legitimately honest. I was a media nerd before I was a gaming nerd.
Mhm.
So I literally have terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of media.
Okay.
I watch pretty much everything.
Mm.
I'm way more selective when it comes to comedy because there's not a whole lot of comedy I like. But when it comes to thriller, sci-fi, action, anime,
Monster movies.
animated, book based, I got a little bit of everything.
Mm.
So to
Nice.
ask me that question is kind of like all of them.
Well, I just got last
gotcha.
night. I just got done finishing rewatching the Lord of the Rings extended edition, just because I had an itch of it. And last night I'm like, oh, that'd be a good question to ask him. Let's see if he gets able to answer it.
Yeah.
All of them.
Probably Star Wars the best. Yeah, I like that.
I've always been a fantasy person, so I really like the Lord of the Rings. But of course, I like Star Wars too. So yeah, that would be it today. And of course, Justin, you're goodness gracious. Every time I say that name, every time I say that name, like my brain just goes like my brother. No, because I hit my brother's name the same thing. If you are welcome to join us any other time you wanted to. If I invite you and you can't join, don't worry about it. But you're more welcome to join us again. Again, for those who are watching the VOD, please sure to leave a like button, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and share it to all your family and friends. I hope I see y'all tomorrow at 7:00 or 7:30. I forget. It's 7:30.
Kind of ish.
Ish. Yeah, we have a little chit chat before we get into the game. So if you're not there for the chit chat, just give it a few more minutes and we'll eventually get into the game.
And Grumpy, I will be sending you messages Sunday, so you know how far out and shit like that. And
okay, but yeah, I will see y'all later. But as always, have a good day, have a good night, have a good life. Much love, y'all.
bye, guys.
Bye.
You guys, nice to meet you.
1, 2, 3,